Hi, this is Mary Ellen Taylor. It's November 30th, 2012, and I just wanted to bring you an update on what is happening with the Berkeley Heights Township and assisting my elderly parents find out what ordinance Mr. Bacco states that they have violated, and perhaps, getting a letter from Mr. Bacco about that. He banged at my parents' door, but we still don't know the ordinance they violated or have a letter from them. But he threatened my parents they better fix it right away. So I was a bit concerned. My brother called. Mr. Bacco told me he didn't have to return his phone call. He spoke to my sister. He kept calling her my sister-in-law. She's not. And he then told Sergeant Ives that those sidewalks on the other side are not dangerous and they're not being replaced because all the sidewalks on Lorraine Drive are that way. But he will cut down the tree that he thinks is my parents' tree, and then my parents will have to fix that sidewalk. What Mr. Bacco doesn't realize is it's not my parents' sidewalk. So he's making one neighbor fix the sidewalk, but not the other one. They're just dangerous. I mean, if it's 4 or 5 inches off the top, I'm sure you wouldn't want your child to fall on it. On the other side, people actually go out into the street with bicycles, strollers. People don't want to walk on it because they don't want to fall. So what I've done is asked Amy Upchurch and Mayor Bruno to go up there and observe that maybe Mr. Bacco isn't being completely honest. And they agreed to do it. We don't know when. It could be a year from now because, agreeing to do it and honoring their agreement are two different things. I went home and told my parents. My mother said, "What's it going to be, another year and a half? You've been trying to advocate for us for almost a year now, and all they're doing is bullying you." So, but I think Amy's going to do the right thing. And I would like to be there when they walk the street with Mr. Bacco. And I'd like to hear his explanation why he doesn't think it's dangerous. Sergeant Ives thought that it needed to be looked at, but Mr. Bacco, it's our family, he doesn't. It was really enlightening to speak to Mr. Mayor Bruno today. Apparently, I have to apologize to him if he views me as being harassing, or if that's just his tactic to try to intimidate me, to shut me up for advocating for the ill and disabled. It's not working, Mr. Bruno, but I really like that Amy was there to witness Mr. Bruno using that tactic that I'm a harassing woman, because, I've stated that, I think the disabled should be able to ride that senior citizen bus. The discussion wasn't wonderful today, like usual. Mr. Bruno said that they are going to reduce the age to 55 for the anyone that's 55 or older that needs a ride on the bus. They can. So people need to know that because you're considered a senior citizen at 55. I asked him to reduce it to 50, and he said no because ARP doesn't give you any discounts at 50 years old. So if they don't give discounts, he's not letting people ride on the bus. I was a little disheartened by his conversation about which elderly people could ride the bus. It's only if they can get on and off the bus with no assistance, which my husband could. But what do the rest of the elderly do if they need a little bit of assistance to get on and off the bus? I love the bus driver. He's really a nice guy. He even came to my home one day, gave me the schedule, and said, "I don't understand why your husband can't get on this bus," a few years ago. So he's a nice guy. He just, he doesn't want to get in trouble or be yelled at by this bunch. So I thought I'd just put out an acknowledgement that he's a really nice guy, and I really like him. Mr. Bruno, I have to thank you also for the discussion about the Pfizer incident in 1999, 2000. No, it was 2000, fall of 2000, when Michael Mathis and Joe Williams and dispatcher Quirk altered a police evidence showing that Pfizer Pharmaceutical was harassing our family. I have documentation and emails that I asked the chairman of Pfizer to please reconsider giving me back my job because they were firing me discriminatorily because they didn't want to pay the health insurance. And that's a big deal for the ill and disabled and their families, because families then don't have health insurance, and it's a terrible thing. They didn't realize my husband was insured also. So it was really a nightmare. And after they fired me, what they would do is that they would, for 18 months, you can carry it, right? And they would reject all the claims, and I had piles and piles of them, on top of my husband being very ill at the time. So that was deliberate. But Mr. Bruno said that Berkeley Heights police must go to someone's house if a corporation files that somebody's, allegedly stealing from them or has their equipment. Well, I said to Mr. Bruno, I'm glad you acknowledge that, because now I would like the original report of what they said I was doing, because after they altered it, they said that I wanted Pfizer to witness. I wanted the police to witness Pfizer coming to my home. Now, I have emails showing that I asked Pfizer to send a FedEx truck to pick up a computer that was in my closet that I found, because they wouldn't let me back in the building or on the property. So finally, maybe there'll be justice for our family. The third thing that was wonderful about this meeting was that Mr. Mathis walked in the room, and I got to tell him how deplorable I thought it was what he did to my daughter. And I think it's horrible what they've done to my family, and they are not very open to protecting the rights of the disabled, and he should be ashamed of himself. Well, Mr. Bruno got really upset about that and said, "He is your chief." And I told him he's not my chief. And he said, "He's the chief of Berkeley Heights." I said, "He's not my chief. My father's got his PhD, he's got a doctorate, but he doesn't make people call him doctor." And so I'm not impressed, because there's really issues here, but I am excited that maybe finally, if the FBI comes in and checks that computer system, they have to have seen that there's an update function on it. There has to be. It's a computer system. And they could go back in the log, and they'll be able to find out that they did indeed alter those records. Because, Mr. Bruno, I didn't ask for Pfizer to come to my house. I can show you the emails, and you've been given all the evidence. So thank you very much, and thank you, Miss Upchurch, for witnessing Mr. Bruno trying to intimidate me with Mr. Mathis, because Mr. Mathis said, "Are you recording this?" And then when Mr. Bruno came in, he goes, "Mr. Bruno, she's recording." I said, "No, I would just record for you, Mr. Mathis, so you couldn't accuse me of anything." And Mr. Bruno said, "It's illegal for you to record without notifying us." And I said, "I know. Mr. Mathis would like to put me up on some kind of charges. He's been trying to do it for years, to cover for his own problems." So, it's there, and it's the truth, and I'm advocating for the ill and disabled, because this shouldn't happen to them. This shouldn't happen to my family. It should happen to no family. Thank you very much. Oh, there's one other thing I want to tell people, which I'm a little bit disappointed the town doesn't have on their website. Down in the town hall, if anybody has problems paying their mortgage, there is a program that I think they said they would waive $30,000 of mortgage because of underemployment or unemployment. I think that's an important thing for the people to know. The other thing I want to thank Amy Upchurch for understanding is that the police should follow the same rules as we do. When I drove in, a police sergeant had his nice new shiny truck parked on the middle of a line, so he took up 2 parking spaces so the car wouldn't get scratched. I just pointed it out to her, because since they make us follow all the rules and make us believe that we need to follow rules that aren't even rules, I want to make sure that they follow the same rules. Well, I don't know who emailed him and told him that, but when I walked back out, the car was still illegally parked, but they moved it somewhere else. It was across the line, so nobody would park near him, and on an angle. You wouldn't want that new shiny truck banged or anything. Nice truck. I see it says that it's some kind of farm. I won't name the farm. I've heard one of them own a horse farm down there. But wow, I wish I had become a police officer. It must be pretty lucrative. Thank you very much, and good evening to all.